There's a window open right now in your retirement plan. A legal IRS-approved window where you can move hundreds of thousands of dollars and pay almost nothing in taxes. And if you're 63 years old, you are standing right at the edge of it. But here's what nobody tells you. That window doesn't stay open forever. In fact, for most people, it slams shut the moment they turn 73. And once it closes, you don't just lose the opportunity, you get hit with a tax bill you cannot avoid on money you may not even need to spend. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what this window is, why 63 is such a critical age, what happens if you wait too long, and the exact math that could save you between $40,000 and $80,000 in taxes over your retirement. Let's get into it. Most people think about taxes in two phases: working years, when your income is high and your tax bill is high, and retirement, when your income drops and you finally get a break. And that second part? It's true for a few years. When you first retire, especially if you retire before Social Security kicks in, your taxable income can drop dramatically. Maybe you're living off savings. Maybe you have a small pension. But your big pre-tax accounts, your traditional IRA, your 401k, those are just sitting there, not touched, growing. And you think, I'll deal with those later. Later arrives at age 73. That's when the IRS steps in and says, you've sheltered that money long enough. Now you must take money out, whether you need it or not. These are called required minimum distributions, RMDs, and they are completely non-negotiable. Here's the thing about RMDs most people don't understand. They're calculated as a percentage of your account balance. So, the bigger your IRA grows before 73, the bigger the forced withdrawal. And because that withdrawal counts as ordinary income, just like a paycheck, it can push you into a higher tax bracket, make more of your Social Security taxable, and even trigger Medicare surcharges called IRMAA. All at once. That's what the financial world calls the RMD tax bomb. And here's what kills me. Most of the people who get hit by this, they saved well. They did everything right. $400,000, $600,000, $800,000 in pre-tax accounts. And because they saved so well, the government forces them to take out more than they want, pays more in taxes than they should, and even more in Medicare premiums than necessary. Doing everything right becomes a tax trap. But here's the thing. The years between when you retire and when RMDs kick in, those are pure gold. Most people in their early 60s, especially if they've stopped working, have artificially low taxable income. Maybe they have a small pension. Maybe they're living off after-tax savings. Whatever the case, they're sitting in the 10 or 12% federal tax bracket, maybe even the 0% bracket for capital gains. And that gap, that quiet period between retiring and 73, is the Roth conversion window, the golden window, the last legal chance to move pre-tax money into a Roth IRA, pay a small tax now, and never pay taxes on that money again. A Roth conversion is simple. You take money from your traditional IRA or 401k, the pre-tax bucket, and you move it into a Roth IRA. The IRS treats the amount you move as income in that year. You pay regular income tax on it. And then, that money grows completely tax-free for the rest of your life. No RMDs on Roth IRAs, no forced withdrawals, and when your heirs inherit it, they don't pay income tax either. The strategy isn't complicated. The question is always when to do it. And that's where 63 becomes the magic number. Let me walk you through the retirement age timeline. At 59 and a half, you can access retirement accounts without the 10% penalty. At 62, you can claim Social Security early, but most people shouldn't. At 65, Medicare begins. At 67, full retirement age for most boomers. At 70, Social Security maxes out. At 73, RMDs begin. The conversion window theoretically opens at 59 and a half. But here's why 63 is critical. Most people haven't claimed Social Security yet. They're not fully in Medicare's IRMAA trap. They have a full decade before RMDs hit. And crucially, a 2-year look-back period means your Medicare premiums in the future are based on your income today. Here's what that means. If you convert large amounts at age 63, those premiums increase at 65 when you start Medicare. But if you convert thoughtfully, staying under the IRMAA threshold, you avoid the surcharge entirely. In 2026, the first IRMAA tier kicks in at $85,000 for single filers, $170,000 for married couples. That's your guardrail. So at 63, you convert just enough to fill your current tax bracket, but not enough to trigger IRMAA. You do this every year until you hit 72. Year after year, methodically moving money from the taxed later bucket to the never taxed bucket. It's not sexy, but the math is extraordinary. Let me show you two people. Both are 63. Both have $620,000 in a traditional IRA. Both plan to retire now. Person A does nothing. They let their IRA grow at 7% for 10 years. By 73, their IRA has grown to $1,220,000. Their first required minimum distribution, $44,000. They're also getting $28,000 in Social Security. Total income, $72,000. Federal tax bill, over $8,000. And because their income crossed $85,000 the year before, IRMAA hits. Medicare. Part B premium jumps from $175 to $245 per month. That's an extra $840 per year. Per person, Person B converts $45,000 per year from ages 63 to 72. At the 12% federal rate, that's $5,400 per year in taxes. Over 10 years, $54,000 paid in taxes. But here's what happens. By 73, their traditional IRA is only $380,000. RMD, $13,800. Plus $28,000 Social Security, total income $42,000. Federal tax, zero. No IRMAA. Standard Medicare premiums. And meanwhile, that Roth account, it's been growing completely tax-free. At 7%, $450,000 in conversions becomes over $750,000 in the Roth by age 83. Tax-free inheritance for their kids. No forced withdrawals ever. That's not magic. That's math. And the only difference between Person A and Person B is that Person B started at 63. There's one more thing I need to tell you, and this one is urgent. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 created the current low tax brackets most Americans benefit from. The 12% bracket, the expanded standard deduction, the favorable rates on capital gains, unless Congress acts, and as of today there's no guarantee they will. Those provisions expire on January 1st, 2029. The 12% bracket reverts to 15%. The 22% bracket becomes 25%. The standard deduction shrinks. What does that mean for you? If you're doing Roth conversions now at 12%, you're locking in a historically low tax rate. If you wait until after 2028, the same conversion costs you 15%. That's a 25% higher tax bill on every dollar you convert. For every $100,000 you convert, the difference is $3,000. Over a decade? That's $30,000 you didn't need to pay. You have, at most, 2 more tax years at current rates to take advantage of this. 2026, 2027, 2028, if you're lucky. The window is not just the golden window between retirement and RMDs. The window within the window is the TCJA sunset. It's closing twice as fast as most people realize. I know what you're thinking. Why would I pay taxes I don't have to pay right now? Fair question. The answer is you're not paying taxes you don't have to pay. You're choosing when to pay taxes you will have to pay at some point. The only question is whether you pay them at 12% voluntarily, or at 22, 25, even 32% involuntarily when RMDs force you to. But what if I need that cash to pay the conversion taxes? Hey, good point. The ideal scenario is paying the conversion taxes from outside money. Your regular savings account, not the IRA itself. That way, 100% of the converted amount goes into the Roth and starts compounding tax-free immediately. If you have to pull tax money from the IRA itself, the conversion still usually makes sense. You just need to run the numbers for your specific situation. What if tax rates go down in the future? Possible, but historically unlikely. Rates were higher from 1960 through 2017 than they've been since. And the U.S. national debt crossed $36 trillion in 2026. The incentive for Congress to raise rates, not lower them, has never been stronger. Here's exactly what to do if you're between 60 and 72 right now. Step 1. Pull up your traditional IRA balance today. Go to your brokerage account right now and write that number down. Step 2. Estimate what your RMDs will be at 73. There's a free IRS worksheet called Publication 590B. Google it. Divide your projected IRA balance at 73 by your life expectancy factor. If that number, added to your Social Security, pushes you above $44,700 single or $89,400 married, you have a problem worth solving. Step 3. Calculate your current taxable income. How much room do you have left in your current tax bracket? That's your annual conversion target. Fill the bracket. Don't exceed it. Step 4. Open a Roth IRA if you don't have one. Any major brokerage, Fidelity, Vanguard, Schwab, lets you open one in 15 minutes online. Step 5. Execute the conversion before December 31st of this year. Conversions count in the tax year they're completed. Don't wait until April. It'll be too late. And then repeat this every year until you're 72. The people who do this consistently, who fill the bracket every year without fail, are the ones who reach their 80s with tax-free wealth their kids will thank them for. Here's the thing about that Roth conversion window. It doesn't announce itself. Nobody sends you a letter when you hit 63 saying, hey, this is your moment. Most people walk right past it. They do nothing. And then at 73, the IRS hands them a bill they can't refuse. You don't have to be one of those people. The window is open. You know what it is now. You know why 63 matters. You know the math. The only question left is whether you'll walk through it. Or wait until someone closes it for you. If this hit home, share it with someone who's approaching retirement. The conversation you have this week might be worth $60,000 to them down the road.